In this video, we will understand about the Central Food Safety Officer FSSAI questions which was there in the written exam 2020 and it was conducted by Food Safety and Standard Authority of India. So, in this section, you will see particularly questions related to food science and technology. Okay, and you will also get questions, one passage type and one some questions from FS Act. Okay, and like FS Act and some Schedule 4 requirements, all those things, and situation analysis. Situation analysis, in that some questions related to different situations and how you will face different situations, that you have to understand. So, the first question is part A, situation analysis on Coca-Cola company about what? Misbranding and its sales outlet and advertising in schools. So, you can see that misbranding of Coca-Cola company is also there. Misbranding in the sense, if it gives some health claims which are not practical, then it can be called as misbranding, and its sales outlets, different kinds of advertisement is also there which are not permitted near to schools. So, the situation analysis will be there, in which you are supposed appointed to be a food safety officer, and in that situations you have seen this misbranded outlets or having some advertisement which is not permitted by FSSAI, then what you will do in that situation. So, the major challenges faced by the Coca-Cola company, you can see that narrowing its focus. If the focus is not proper, then also there will be some problem. Like Coca-Cola, like all corporations, is at its core a decisions making agent. So anything that slows down the decisions making process impedes its efficiency. So whatever makes something which makes the decisions making process very slow, then it impedes, it inhibits the efficiency of the company. So that is also one problem. And broadening its moat, it means if you have the competitions with only one company, then it will be a problem, and it cannot always rely on R&D, research and development, for innovative new products and features that captures consumers' attentions and loyalty. Next is pinpointing its purpose. So, whether you are selling sprockets or sugar water, standing out in totally socially conscious market. So, the market is having conscious people about health consciousness and about all other consciousness is there about the ingredient, about the content of the plastics, all these things people are having consciousness, and to tackle that, that is also a problem, that is also a challenge. Then next question is a comprehension. You can see some comprehension, some passage will be there, and this passage will have some explanations about a topic, and afterwards you will get 4 to 5 questions and you have to answer that questions. Okay, what is FSS Act and its role in present scenario? List the acts which were deferred by the act. Give example of the act's role. So, before writing the answers of the questions, you have to understand that what is the real purpose of these questions, what the question is asking, what the question is trying to know from you, that you have to understand, and then you have to write it concisely, not explaining in a big way. That is also one important thing. So, this act is an act to consolidate the laws relating to the food and to establish the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, because earlier there were no such authority which were particularly controlling the food safety. So there was a development of Food Safety and Standard Authority of India by this act for laying down science based standards for articles of food and to regulate their manufacturing, storage, distributions, sales and import. That is also one important things, and to ensure availability of the safe and wholesome food for human consumptions and for matters connected to therein or incidental thereto. So this is the act, and the deferred acts were like Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954, then Fruit Product Orders, Meat Food Product Order 1973, Vegetable Oil Product Control Orders 1947, Edible Oil Packaging Regulations Order 1988, Solvent Extracted Oil, De-oiled Meal and Edible Flour Control Order 1967, Milk and Milk Order. So all these different orders or acts were there which were sometimes contradictory to each others or sometimes applicable to one state and not applicable to others. So a lot of confusions were also there due to these multiple laws. And what FSS Act 2006 does, that these multiple laws are consolidated and became one single law. Okay, if you see the roles of this act is to framing up regulations, lay down food safety standards, laying down guidelines for accreditations of laboratory for food testings, how the different food testing laboratories will be accredited. All these things are mentioned in the act. Then providing scientific advice and technical support to the central government. This is also one aspects of the law and which has to be followed by FSSAI. Then contributing to the development of international technical standards in food, and collecting and collating data regarding food consumptions, contaminations, emerging risks, etc., disseminating information, promoting awareness about food safety and nutrition in India. So all these things are the responsibility of the FSSAI and which are all mentioned in the FSS Act. In FSS Act, you will see different kinds of punishments for those who are not having license and they are doing the business, and some who are which are making grievous severe problems in food safety and causing health issues to the consumers. So different kinds of punishments are available in FSS Acts which are very much efficient to control the food safety and food quality. Okay. So the next question is, FSSAE has 5 parts under Schedule 4. List them and give examples of all 5 parts. Analyze any 2. So as per the conditions of license under FSS Licensing and Registrations of Food Business Regulations 2011, food business operator applying for license must have a documented FSMS plan and comply with Schedule 4 requirements. So in FSS license, Food Safety and Standard Act, Licensing and Registrations of Food Business Regulations 2011, in that one Schedule 4 requirements are there which are also called as food safety and hygiene requirements, whose main purpose is to provide assurance of food safety. Food business must implement an effective food safety management system based on hazard analysis and critical control points and are suitable prerequisite programs. So what are those 5 parts of the Schedule 4? These are general hygienic and sanitary practices to be followed by food business operators applying for registrations. Those who are applying for registrations, for them this part is mentioned, and this food business operator can be called as PT food operators and street food vendors. These food vendors should have registrations, and what are the hygienic and sanitary practices to be followed by those vendors are mentioned in part 1 in schedule 4 of food business, food safety and standard licensing and registrations of food business regulation 2011. And part 2 is telling what general hygienic and sanitary practices to be followed by food business operator applying for license. Manufacturing, processing, packaging, storage, distributions. Those FBO who are involved in manufacturing, processing, packaging, storage, distributions. These food business operators should follow the food safety and hygienic requirements mentioned in part 2. Then part 3 says what? General hygienic and sanitary practices to be followed by food business operator applying for license, and those food business operator is for milk and milk products. And fourth part is those food business operator who are dealing with slaughterhouse and meat processing. And at final part 5 is telling about the catering industries. Okay, so 5 parts are mentioned here. Lastly, it is asking about analyze any 2 parts. So in that, what you can take food business operator applying for registrations and food business operator applying for catering business. So these 2 parts you can take and give some particular points which are important to be followed by these 2 food business operator. For suppose you are taking the example of FBO for catering. What are the requirement of water quality? What should be the arrangement of the food business layout? All these things. And for PT food business operator, that he should have minimum sanitary practices like having one waste bin near to its area and maintaining proper cleanliness during processings and using potable water. All these things are mentioned. Then next question is Organic Regulations Act and its important, its role in farmers and what is the role in market. Organic Regulations Act and its important. In organic regulations, if a farmers or a producers or a FBO is claiming that his product is organic, then he has to take the certificates from FSSAI that India organic logo should be there. Not India organic, it is Jaivik Bharat logo by FSSAI, and the FSSAI has permitted small organic producers having an annual turnover over 12 lakhs to sell their produce directly to end consumers without certification till April 2020, but cannot use Jaivik Bharat logo in their products. Organizations are encouraging government to promote the Jaivik Bharat logo and certification process to make organic food more trustworthy and easy to recognize in India. Trustworthy in the sense that it should be a authorized, means that the food should be really organic, and without organic, if they are claiming that it is organic food, then it should be a punishable offense. So that's why the regulation says, and this regulation is also helping to prevent on non-organic product as organic food, and it also help the farmers to make export of their products, and it also helped by the APEDA. Okay, so this is the main importance. So the next question is part C. What is the foodborne diseases? What are its type and the causative organism? Okay, So the food-based disease, a disease caused by consuming contaminated food or drink. Myriad microbes and toxic substances can contaminate foods. There are more than 250 non-foodborne diseases. The majority are infectious and caused by bacteria, but viruses and parasites and other foodborne diseases are essentially poisoning caused by toxins, chemical contaminating the food. All foodborne microbes and toxins enter the body through the gastrointestinal tract or GI tract and often causes the first symptoms there. So there will be some problem in the GI tract like cramps, like the diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, and frequent, which are very frequent in foodborne diseases. These symptoms are very frequent in foodborne diseases. Okay. Some causative organisms are like Escherichia coli, O157H7, or which are acquired through contaminated food or contaminated drinking water, like and contaminated swimming water. All these things are there. And salmonella, E coli, campylobacter, some norovirus like calcivirus, norovac like virus, campylobacter, salmonella. These are all causative organisms which causes foodborne diseases. Shigella, hepatitis A, all these things are the causative organisms. What is huddle technology? Give its importance, provide example, its application in food industry. So huddle technology is a method of ensuring that pathogens in food products can be eliminated or controlled. That after the consumptions of the food should be safe. So you have to utilize huddle technology. So so that the shelf life of the food is extended. It works by usually combining more than one approach, and that approach can be called as hurdles. Hurdles are nothing but an obstacle to the microbes so that they cannot grow to their level or they will not overcome the level, and they will not remain in the food in the active form. They will not present in the food in the active form. And the right combinations of the hurdles can ensure all pathogens are eliminated or rendered harmless in the final products. But important thing, you have to choose what technology you are utilizing, what technology you are opting to control the microbes, because some foods are heat labile and some food cannot tolerate some heat, a higher level of heat. So what kind of combinations of hurdles you can utilize so that microbes will be controlled, that is also important to select hurdle technology. For example, you see, for high temperature you can utilize heat treatment. For low temperature you can go for chilling, freezing, all these things. Then for reducing the water activity, lowering the level of free water in the food, you can go for drying, curing, conserving. Then increased level of acidity can also inhibit the growth of microbes, that also one hurdles. So acid additions or formations. Then reduced redox potential. So to prevent the rancidity, you can also use some technology which removes the oxygens or addition of ascorbate. Then biopreservatives, competitive flora such as microbial fermentations, some microbes which are not harmful but prevent the growth of other harmful microbes. That is also one technology, that is called biopreservatives. And other preservatives, some chemical preservatives like sorbates, sulfites, nitrates, all in combinations you can utilize for harder technology in order to increase the shelf life of the food or in order to preserve the food. Then next question is, what are non-destructive methods and its importance? Give example. So non-destructive testings is a wide group of analysis technique used in science and technology in industry to evaluate. Main purpose is to evaluate the properties of the material. What is the properties of that food product and what is the component of that product, and without causing any damage to that food. Main purpose is to know the quality of the food without damaging the food. It means you don't have to damage the food present within the seal, or you don't need to take the sample and sending to the lab and analyze the sample and getting the results. So it will be cumbersome process which is taking more time. So this technology NDT, non-destructive testing, is very important to know the quality of the food product as it is without destroying the food of that industry. This NDT rely upon electromagnetic radiations, that some electromagnetic radiations will be utilized, and that radiations will be sent to the food product. Suppose this is the food and you have used some radiations, and the level of radiations from this material will be different for different quality products. Level of absorbance or level of radiations from this product is different for different food products, and by that it will find out the quality of food. So that is the main purpose. So it utilizes electromagnetic radiations, sound and other signal conversions to examine a wide variety of articles. Suppose metallic and non-metallic food products, all these things are there. So you can use X-rays, some nutrients or gamma radiations, all these things are there which are very important in NDT test methods. Okay, its application in food industry is very crucial. In food industry, suppose you are producing the food continuously, and if you are not capable to know the quality of the food you are sending to the market, what will happen? It will cause the problem in customers. If you have sent your food products without proper analysis, and if there will be any problem in the food, then it will be a problem. So NDT does what? Online production will be going on and online testing will also happen, and if any product is having any problem, and it will be sorted out and it will not reach to the consumers. That is the main importance to the food industry. Then what is GMP, good manufacturing practices? So I am leaving these questions unanswered. You can give the comments about GMP, what is the most important parts of GMP, good manufacturing practices, whether it can be called as prerequisite programs or operational prerequisite programs, or whether we can find, analyze or identify this GMP as HACCP. All these things you can comment on the comment sections. And one more thing I want to tell you, that whatever the questions were there in that set, I have tried to answer in my way, but anyway, that this is not a fixed manner. You can answer in your pattern based upon the demand of the questions you can answer. Okay, so with this I like to thank you a lot.